are failing to get results at the moment. Also, we'll be taking a look at the results from the Bundesliga and the Serie A. But before we get there, now with the Africa Cup for Club Championships beckoning, Hockey Premier League side Wazalendo Hockey Club hopes that events from past experiences will not be repeated after securing another chance to take part in the continental showpiece. Rotundo Kwenyike paid them a visit early on in the morning, and this is what they had to say.
Robinson, once again, it is yet another beautiful day right here at Utawala in Nairobi, where we get to interact with Wazalendo. Of course, Wazalendo finished runners-up in the last Hockey League season. Now, right now, they are preparing for the Africa Club Championship. Of course, Butali Warriors and Wazalendo will get to represent Kenya this time round in the Africa Club Championship that is set for Malawi. And it is supposed to take part towards the end of November, getting into December. Now, it has not been an easy journey, of course, for Wazalendo. They last won in Africa Club in 2007. Things did not pan out accordingly because of a few challenges, but hopefully this time round the situation will be different, considering the team has been training for many months now. I've gotten to interact with players, the coach, and they are quite positive that what they have done will enable them get the best out of that specific championship. As I have said, you can see them training. They've put in quite a lot into their training this time round. And of course, considering the early preparations, they're hoping to have an upper hand, not only heading into the club championship, but of course heading into the new hockey season. Now, right now, I'm just joined by Mr. Moses Majiwa, who's the chairman of the steering committee, and he's just going to brief us a bit of what to expect heading into that specific competition. Mr. Majiwa, how are you feeling today?
I'm quite elated. Thank you very much for having and for visiting us here. And it's been a pleasure to actually have you here to see what we are trying to do to actually prepare ourselves for the Africa Cup of Club Champions, which is slated for Malawi later in the year.
Of course, it's a pleasure to be here too. And let's just get right into it. Last time Wazalendo was an Africa club was in 2007. 2020, this time round. What should we expect heading into the event?
Okay, thank you very much, Rotuno. One of the things that we expect is that hockey, first of all, has changed tremendously in the last 10 or so years. And Wazalendo has actually improved in terms of our going into this tournament. At that time, in 2007, we had only one team. Today, as we are speaking, Wazalendo is a stable of 4 teams, including the veterans. So we have quite a large pool of players who are challenging us as administrators to actually give them the opportunity for them to move to the next level. As you can see, and as you have said, we finished second in the league that ended last year. And we have quite a number of young players who actually are yearning to actually push this club to the next level. And this club championship is actually our avenue to actually be able to give them the opportunity to go to the next levels. And therefore, we have no option but to be at the club championships.
We have teams training in different areas in Nairobi, and for the benefit of having a bigger team, what can you say about the talent that you have seen? What can you say about the skill that you have seen? And considering the COVID disruption, and right now teams have just gotten back to the pitch.
Okay, as you have said, of course, as Wazalendo, we are actually following the guidelines from the Ministry of Health, being the local advisor as regards the COVID pandemic. And as such, we are not able to put all our teams together. And therefore, we have our teams training in small groups. That is the second phase of the guidelines as was released by the ministry. We have the teams training in small group. One group you have here. There's another group in Rongai. There's another group training in Gong Road. There's another group training at Udiru, and there's another one in South B, and of course some are in upcountry. Now, the talents, of course, because of the way they are training in small groups, we have assistant coaches in the various places. And the talents are spread all over because of that. The fact that we have them training in different places, some of the challenges we have is that, yes, the assistant coaches are watching over them and taking them through the paces, but you cannot be able to integrate this together with the ones we are having here in one team. And therefore, we are looking forward to perhaps having the ministry giving us a clearance so that perhaps we can actually move away from this ground, because this ground is not actually commensurate with the ground that we are going to play the tournament in. So if we move into, if we are given the clearance, we move into an AstroTurf ground, and then we bring all the team together, then now we can be able to test the skills that we have of the different players. But as it is right now, the foundation skills, we have plenty of them, and we are confident that once we are able to put them together and sharpen those skills, then we are able to perform in this tournament.
It was not all smooth sailing in 2007. Just take us back to 2007. What exactly happened?
That's an interesting one, to take us back to history. Well, Wazalendo is a self-supporting club. And therefore, when we got that opportunity, of course, it arose from the fact that we played in the finals with the then Kisumu Simba, and they won. We lost in the finals of the league, and therefore we became runners-up, and therefore qualified for that tournament. Now, the moment we qualified for that tournament, we said we want to go to that tournament. And as a self-supporting club, finances is one of our greatest challenge. So we went into our pockets, we went to our friends, and so on and so forth. But what was happening is that we were being promised money by friends here and there, because you see, it's not when you go to someone, they may not have the money right then. So they will tell you, okay, come next week, I'll be able to get for you. Another one tells you 2 weeks, another one tells you. So we were able to get promises of the funds. And therefore, we went to the ticketing agent and told them, we are expecting money. Can you be able to reserve for us tickets for going to Egypt? Of course, they did. But you see, these guys are in business. So there was another team, I think it was a swimming team, which was going to Korea. And this group was very large, and they came and they had money in their hands. The ticketing agent had no option and to sell the tickets with somebody who was able to pay. So eventually we were able to get our tickets after. So we were able to arrive in Egypt, but we arrived after the stipulated commencement time for the tournament, and therefore the only thing we could do is we could only play friendlies. And you realize that teams that have not gone for this tournament have previously been fined. Wazalendo was not fined. Why? Because it was out of our control. This was something out of our control. So we have learned from that incident, and therefore, when immediately we qualified in last year, we basically kicked off the process for collecting funds and therefore preparing for this tournament. It has not been easy, but we are trying our best.
You mentioned one crucial aspect of things, that is the finances. Yes. How is the financial situation at the moment, specifically heading into Africa Club?
Well, Rotino, it is still a challenge, but I can say that there is quite a lot of light at the end of the tunnel. We as Wazalendo, we looked at what are the means for us to be able to get the money. And of course, the default is we first start from within the club itself, our funds, and therefore, and then we go to corporates. So what we have done is we have opened quite a number of avenues to be able to help us collect funds. We are collecting money from within ourselves, but it's you know, COVID actually affected a lot. Most of our players, some of them lost their jobs, some of them on half pay, you know, reduced pay or something like that. And so we opened up an Mchanga platform to help us to solicit for money from the public. That we did in July. There's quite a bit of money which has been trickling through that. We have been following up with the corporates to sponsor us. Last week, we were able to get Wiz Global coming on board. We are looking at more corporates coming along. It's promising, but still, up to today, we've only collected 11%. It's 1 month to the tournament, so you can see that we are still on the, you know, on a very thin string but we are confident. We still have other avenues. We are organizing a golf tournament. Hopefully we will invite you to come and also cover this. And we are also thinking about a marathon run to help us raise the money. So we are still, appealing to the public out there and our friends, please, to make sure that you send us something so that we can be able to prepare well.
And Mr. Majua, heading into Malawi, of course, there's going to be quite some stiff competition, especially from the Egyptian side, which has proved to be a dominant side. What are we expecting from Kenya and Wazalendo, to be specific?
Okay, thank you very much. We accept, we agree. The Egyptian teams have been very, very strong, and one of the reasons why you realize they are that strong is because they have a very strong financial base. Most of the clubs in Egypt are, they have a sponsorship at their disposal. That notwithstanding, we have a lot of talent within us. Among our players here, we have quite a lot of, national team players. Okay, they have been, some of them were in South Africa just the other day, and they are there to actually, they'll want to prove a point to some of these teams. Two of our youngsters who are just joining the team were in the Youth Olympic Games in 2018 in Argentina. These are people who are yearning to actually make their statement at the African stage. And therefore, going into this tournament, we know there'll be a lot of competition, but our players are actually geared to also give for whatever they'll get from the other opponents.
Thank you so much, Mr. Majua, for your time today. That was quite some good insight. And we, of course, we are hoping all the best for the team as they head into, hopefully, as they head into Malawi.
Yeah, thank you very much. Of course, we have all the optimism. This is the only thing that we can do for our players. It's the only avenue for us to be able to raise the level of the sport in this country. Previous tournaments have gone with no participants from Kenya, and we have said we have to stop that. No matter what the challenges are, we have to surmount them and go into this tournament. And therefore, we thank you very much for being able to come and appreciate what we are doing. And we look forward to seeing you someday in future, especially in Malawi.
Thank you so much, Mr. Majua. Of course, I'll avail myself whenever the chance comes up.
Thank you so much.
Now, Robinson, you've had quite a lot has been said, as I had said, quite some good insight into the Africa Club Championship. And of course, we're hoping for the best from Wazalendo right here. And of course, we're waiting to see how fast or how soon teams will be given the go-ahead to resume sports accordingly. But right here from Utawala, that is all we had time for today. And as I said, all the best for the Kenyan teams, that is Butali Warriors and Wazalendo FC, as they seek to participate in the Africa Club Championship. Back to you, Robinson.
Thanks a lot, Rotuno Kwenyike, who was with Wazalendo.